Every single one of us has dreams we want to fulfill, goals we've written down, passions we've felt burning inside. And yet there's something that holds most people back from taking action. What is it? It's not lack of intelligence, not lack of time, not even lack of opportunity. It's fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of failing, fear that maybe you'll give everything you have and it still won't work out. But here's the truth. Fear is part of being human. Everyone feels it. The difference between those who live fully and those who settle is simple. Some people act anyway. They've trained themselves not to get rid of fear, but to move through it. Because when you take action in spite of fear, you don't just change your results, you change who you are. Momentum replaces hesitation, strength replaces doubt, and courage becomes your new default setting. The secret to changing your life doesn't start with strategy, it starts with your state. You can't make powerful decisions from a fearful, anxious, or hopeless state. You must first change how you feel. And that starts with your body, your physiology. You can shift your emotions in seconds by changing your posture, your breathing, your energy. Stand tall, breathe deeply, move like someone who already believes. Science now proves what the greatest achievers have known for centuries. Motion creates emotion. When you change your body, you change your mind. Next, change your focus. Wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. If you focus on everything that's wrong, you'll feel powerless. But if you focus on what's strong, what's working, and what you're grateful for, your world transforms instantly. Gratitude destroys fear, it kills anger, it turns anxiety into power. When you focus on what you already have, you begin to feel unstoppable. And finally, change your story. Every person has a story they tell themselves about why life is the way it is. I've tried everything. I'm not ready, it's too late. These stories are not facts. They're emotional states repeated over time. When you change your state, your story changes too. You begin to say, I'm capable, I'm ready, this is my time. And when your story changes, your strategies suddenly work. Because it's not that success is impossible, it's that you've been approaching it from the wrong emotional place. So today, decide to step out of fear and into courage. Use your body, your focus, and your story to take back control. Prime your mind every day with gratitude, faith, and purpose. Because happiness doesn't come from getting, it comes from growing, giving, and becoming. When you do that, you'll find that fear no longer runs your life, you do. Fear is the invisible wall that stands between who you are and who you're meant to become. Every person, no matter how successful or confident they appear, has felt fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. It's part of being human. The problem isn't that fear exists. The problem is when we let it control us. Fear whispers lies in your ear that you should wait until you're ready, that you're not capable, that others will judge you. But waiting until you're no longer afraid is the same as waiting forever. The truth is, courage doesn't come before action, it comes after. The moment you take that first step, even when you're trembling, you begin to build a new identity. You teach your mind that fear doesn't have power over you anymore. You show yourself that discomfort is a sign of growth, not danger. Each time you take action in spite of fear, you build a muscle, the muscle of confidence. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Think about it. Every great achievement you admire was born out of someone's willingness to do it scared. The people who create extraordinary lives aren't fearless. They've just trained themselves to move forward despite their fear. They've learned to convert that nervous energy into momentum. They use fear as fuel. It's not about erasing fear from your life, it's about retraining your brain to act even when fear screams stop. So when fear shows up, and it will, don't fight it, don't run from it. Feel it fully, acknowledge it, and then do it anyway. Because beyond that moment of hesitation lies your true potential. Action is the antidote to fear. Once you take that first step, you'll realize the monster in your mind was never as big as you imagined. It was just waiting for you to move. The fastest way to change your life is to change the emotional state you're in. Your posture, your breathing, your movement, your tone, all of it sends signals to your brain about how you feel. If you slump your shoulders, breathe shallow, and speak softly, your mind assumes you're tired or defeated. But if you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with strength, your brain instantly begins to produce chemicals of confidence and power. It's science. Motion creates emotion. When you change how you move, you change how you feel. Think about it. When you feel anxious, tired, or fearful, your decisions are completely different than when you feel excited, confident, and alive. Your emotional state controls your behavior, and your behavior creates your results. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you're in a low emotional state, you won't use it. That's why changing your state is the first step toward transforming your life. Your state starts with your body, your physiology. Growth gives you something to offer. Giving gives your growth purpose. The more you grow, the more you have to give, and the more you give, the more you grow. It's the ultimate cycle of fulfillment. It's what turns a good life into a meaningful one. The most successful, peaceful people on earth understand this truth. Contribution is the meaning of life. We are not here just to consume, compete, or survive. We are here to serve. The moment you start focusing on how to give your time, your energy, your presence, something magical happens. The fear disappears, the pain loses power, you feel connected to something greater than yourself, and that's why growth and giving go hand in hand. But growth alone isn't enough. True fulfillment comes from giving. When you take what you've learned, what you've healed, what you've become, and use it to lift others, you experience a level of joy and connection that nothing else can match. Giving is not about losing, it's about expanding. When you share your strength, your wisdom, your love, it multiplies inside you. You don't give to be thanked, you give because it's who you are. Everything in nature either grows or dies. There's no in between. The same is true for us. When we stop growing, we start feeling stuck, empty, restless. The secret to lasting happiness isn't comfort, it's progress. It's knowing that you're becoming more today than you were yesterday. When you grow emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you begin to feel alive again. You reconnect with that energy that reminds you you're still evolving, still creating, still capable of more. From that place, you don't say, I can't. You say, I will. You don't see failure as the end, you see it as feedback. So ask yourself, what story have you been telling that's been holding you back? And what new story could you begin to live today? Because when you change your story, you don't just change how you see life, you change what's possible in life. You become the author again, not just the character. Human beings are designed to grow. You can rewrite your narrative in any moment. You can decide right now that your past does not define you, it prepares you. Every struggle becomes a setup for strength when you tell a better story about it. The key to rewriting your story is to first change your emotional state. Because when you're in a low, fearful, or frustrated state, you'll always create limiting story. But when you shift into state of gratitude, excitement, or courage, you begin to write new script, one filled with possibility. You can have two people go through the same pain. One uses it as a reason to grow, the other as a reason to stop trying. The difference lies in the story they choose to believe. Your story is powerful because it shapes your identity. If you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, it's too late for me, or I've tried everything, that story becomes your reality. You'll find evidence to support it. You'll act in ways that keep it true. But the beautiful thing is stories can change. So train your focus like a muscle, guard it fiercely, choose every day to direct it toward what makes you strong, what inspires you, what moves you forward. Because focus, not fate, is what creates your future. Every person carries a story, a set of beliefs about who they are, what they deserve, and what's possible for them. Some stories empower us, others imprison us. The problem isn't the circumstances of our lives, it's the story we tell ourselves about them. Your focus shapes your destiny. Because whatever you focus on consistently, you start to believe. And whatever you believe, you act upon. These questions redirect your focus away from what's missing and toward what's meaningful. And when you focus on gratitude, fear cannot survive. Gratitude and fear cannot live in the same space. The presence of one destroys the other. If you constantly focus on problems, your brain becomes a problem machine. But if you focus on what you're proud of, what you're excited about, what you can do right now, your brain becomes a solution generator. Focus is the difference between anxiety and peace, between stagnation and progress. When you start your day, train your focus intentionally. Ask yourself empowering questions. What am I grateful for today? What's great about this moment? What can I be excited about right now? Love and opportunity. Your emotions transform instantly. Your focus determines your experience of life more than your circumstances ever could. Because life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you through the lens you choose to look through. Most people let their focus drift toward fear and scarcity. They think about what could go wrong, who hurt them, what's missing, and whatever you repeatedly focus on, your mind amplifies. Don't try to talk yourself into positivity. Move your body, breathe differently, take up space, feel your power. Because the moment you shift your state, your perspective changes. And when your perspective changes, your possibilities expand. Whatever you focus on, you feel. Focus is the steering wheel of your emotional life. When you focus on everything that's missing, you feel lacking. When you focus on what's wrong, you feel hopeless. But when you focus on what's right, on gratitude, progress, you can shift your state in seconds by doing something physical. Jump, stretch, dance, run, shout, laugh. When you make a radical change in your body, your mind can't help but follow. The world's top performers use this. Everyday athletes, leaders, creators. They don't wait to feel motivated. They generate motivation through movement. They use their body to create their state and their state to create their life. So if you ever find yourself stuck, uncertain, or down. Don't overthink it.